right, gang. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get this party started. All right. So one of the things that I firmly believe is that you on a daily basis as a sales professional have to work to separate yourself from the competition, because there are thousands of choices for the clients that you are attempting to get, the prospects out there. You have a lot of competition, and you have to separate yourself in ways that are valuable and that translate into ultimately into the customer choosing you versus the competition. And one of the ways to do that, gang, is to make sure that you position yourself as an authority, as an expert. In other words, knowledgeable about the market, and what's going on. And not that you have a crystal ball, because none of us do, but it's important to understand, what's happening in the marketplace, not only on a very local level, but within your city, your county, the state, and then on a national level. Because the more you know about that, of course, the more you can speak confidently. I always say that with clarity there is power. So the more clear you are about things, the more powerful you can act. And when you act with greater power, you act with greater intention. And when you act with greater intention, you get better results. Well, that is very true when it comes to any message that we want to share. And so what I wanted to do this morning is just go over some numbers, some statistics, some information that I think will be helpful for you as you find yourself engaged in conversations with either buyers or sellers in the process of trying to convert people to from being a lead to a client, or convert a client to a buyer or a seller if they may be reluctant to do something based upon their opinions as to what's going on in the real estate world and the economy overall. So having said that, let me ask you this question. How many homes were sold last year in the United States? Anybody know? On a national level, how many homes were sold? This is where we test to see if anybody's actually listening.
5.5 million.
Close, but not the accurate number. Anybody else? Good try though, Brandon. You know what's happening right now, Brandon? A lot of people are actually Googling it to see how many. Okay, Mr. Ramos. Olivia said 7,000 by C21. Well, I'm asking, that's the correct number, but I'm asking on a national level, how many homes were sold in the United States? Anyone? Okay, gang. So I Googled it, and it's you see 6.5 million. And Jeannie, that is the answer, 6.5 million. So it's 6.5 million existing home sales. So if the home already existed, it wasn't new construction, 6.5 million sold. How many new construction homes were sold? Well, let me give you that answer. It was 800,000. So between the existing home sales and the new construction home sales, we saw a total of 7.3 million homes sold last year in 2021. All right, let me ask you this question. Let's focus specifically on Century 21. Somebody already gave the answer in terms of the number of homes sold by the company. Just to clarify, that 7,000 is between Utah and California total. I don't have the breakdown to show you what happened in California specifically. I can find that, but I know that the number is going to be somewhere in the 2.5, probably to 3,000 range, right in there. But I can find that number for you. So what total value of real estate did we sell last year as a company? Anybody know the total volume, the dollar volume? In other words, what was the total value of all the real estate that Century 21 ever sold last year? Anyone? Bueller. Anybody know? Take a guess. Come on.
3.7 billion sold.
Brandon Ramey. Brandon's got the cheat sheet. That is correct. 3.7 billion, gang. That's a B with a billion, not million with an M, which is a ton of real estate. That's a ton. That is crazy. Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. I'm looking at my numbers here. Let's look at Ventura County specifically. Anybody know how much real estate prices in Ventura County changed in 2021? What was the percentage increase of home values in Ventura County for 2021?
19.1%.
Well, that's a really specific number. So that's great, Austin. I don't know where you got that number. I'll live with it. The number that I've got is 17.9% for Ventura County. Maybe we both need to check our numbers, but let's just agree that it's somewhere between 18 and 19%. But the number I've got specifically is 17.9%. The median house price in Ventura County. Anybody have that?
Probably 780.
Pretty close, Armani. Yeah, pretty close. 810. 810 was the median home price in Ventura County in 2021. And then the average days on market. Anybody know the average days on market?
14.
Yeah, it's actually much higher than I expected. So remember, this is going to take into account all properties, all listings. So it was 36 days on market versus the previous year. And this is December over December because we're doing year end. It was 42. So the number of days did decrease, but it was 36 versus 42. Okay. And again, that's Ventura County, not Ventura City. For those of you who would want to know Ventura City, let me just give you those numbers very quickly. For Ventura City, the rate of appreciation in Austin, this is maybe the number you were looking at. Ventura City is 18.8%, so nearly 19%. And then the median home price was $801,000. So basically 800,000. And then days on market were 31 in 2021 versus 41 at the end of 2020. So it was a 10-day drop. Okay. All right. So let's talk U.S. Unemployment rate. Anybody know what the U.S. unemployment rate is right now?
Is it 6.9?
Well, if it were 2020, that would be correct. But the end of 2021, Armani, it was 4.2 in the U.S. So it was 6.7 at the end of 2020. At the end of 2021, it was 4.2%. Let's get a little more granular. What about in California? Anybody know what the unemployment rate currently is in California?
I'll guess, but well,
I love the fact that you're guessing, Armani, because it's easy to look it up. I love the fact that you're willing to just participate. So give me a number.
I'd say from my recollection right now, probably 5.9, 6.1, somewhere around there.
Okay, well, close. It's actually 6.9%.
Okay.
Yeah. And last year, at the end of December, and I say last year, meaning 2020, it was 9.3%. So it dropped from 9.3% to 6.9%. Whereas in the US, it was 6.7% and it dropped to 4.2%. So obviously the numbers are headed in the right direction. Okay. All right. So let me ask you this question. What's the projection for real estate prices in the United States in 2022? Anybody know what the supposed experts are saying will happen to real estate prices? Are they going to go up, stay the same, go down?
Increase.
Increase. Okay. All right. And Angela, anybody know by how much?
I think probably 14%.
Okay. So the consensus seems to be, Armani, and again, thank you for participating, because it's, look, I had to look up these numbers as well, but my message here is that, look, gang, as an active agent working in the business on a day-to-day basis, you should know these numbers. And it's not like you have to check them every day, because they don't change every day. And quite frankly, you don't have to check them every month. My suggestion would be that on a quarterly basis that you're checking these numbers, because this is your business and people are going to ask. And even if they don't ask, you're going to find that in conversation, that if you knew this information, you would use it. And if you use this information in conversations, you would appear to be credible. You would appear to be knowledgeable. You'd appear to be an expert about real estate and the marketplace. And when you appear to be credible, of course, that allows people to feel more comfortable and confident in talking with you and actually choosing to work with you versus the competition. So going back to that question, Armani, the projection in the United States for home prices is to see an increase of somewhere between 6 and 7% on average. Now, that's the average number. You're going to see markets across the nation where it could be dramatically higher and some where it's going to be lower. I mean, there will be markets, no doubt, that will see a double-digit increases, not just single-digit increases. But the number that I'm seeing most consistently is somewhere between 6 and 7% on a national level. Now, California, anybody know what the projection is for California?
I need someone to guess. Can't do it all. Come on, guys.
Armani's tired of guessing.
10%. 8 to 10%.
Okay, well, thank you for the guess. So the number that I'm seeing consistently is somewhere between 5 and 6%. Okay, somewhere between 5 and 6%, and they're expecting that the median home price will reach 835,000. So median meaning that's kind of the center point. Half the homes will be worth more than 835. Half the homes will be worth less or under 835. So the median is 835,000. Pretty close to the average. Not technically the average, but you could just, for purposes of conversation, yeah, 835,000 is the average home sales price. So gang, those are the numbers. Now, let me just give you, first of all, some sources that you can go to consistently to get market information. You can go to Inman News, INMAN, Inman News. You can go to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics to get the unemployment rate for the US as well as California and any other state, and other labor information. You can, of course, go to the National Association of Realtors website. You can go to Redfin. Redfin is another source that provides economic data, especially current data. But my point is this, gang, because you are professionals in this business of real estate, and presumably you're out talking to people every day, which you should be, I hope you are, because that's your job, that is you're talking with people and sharing a message. The message should include information like this. The challenge is that you won't ever talk about these things, be able to use these as sound bites, talk about the exciting thing that, my heavens, the company that I worked with sold $3.7 billion of real estate last year. We sold 7,000 homes, Mr. Seller. And how many homes do you need to sell? Well, we just need to sell one. Well, my heavens, if we can sell 7,000 in a year or 3,500 in 6 months, don't you think that we can sell one home, your beautiful home? Well, it seems like you could. Yes, we can, right? Or when a buyer is talking about, that now's not a good time to buy because home prices are high and they're expecting prices to drop. Well, the experts are saying that prices actually are going to increase, right? So knowing this information allows you to craft a message, whether you're talking to buyers or sellers, that can build value, that can help them see things differently. In other words, see things more clearly, more informed, to change their perspective so that you can help them get what it is that they want. look, I'm not talking about manipulating people. I'm just talking about educating people. And the more information they have, the more educated decision they can take, and the better you can serve them. But it's difficult to do that when you, as the professional, don't even know what's going on in the marketplace. We get so granular, right? We get into our own neighborhoods and our own cities in terms of what's happening, and just in real estate. And there are only X number of homes on the marketplace and only X number sold, but that's not really telling us overall what's happening. It's important that we really see a bigger picture as well. And that enables us to share a much more clear and I think interesting message, so that we can guide people through this process. Because here's the thing, nobody has a crystal ball, but a lot of buyers and sellers think that they do. And if they come across as knowing more about the marketplace than you do and about the economy than you do, who's going to control the conversation? That wasn't a rhetorical question. If they act like they know more, and they're pulling out numbers and talking about these things, and you don't know this information, who's going to control the conversation?
They will.
Yeah, they will. And if they're controlling the conversation, it's not going to go the direction you want it to go, right? As the professional, you should know more than they do. You don't want to be in a situation where you're talking to a seller and the seller knows more about the market and about the community and about their neighborhood than you do. You need to go in as the expert. It's how you separate yourself from the other agents. It's like, you know more than anybody else. It's your business. It'd be like you going into a neurosurgeon and knowing more about brain surgery than the neurosurgeon. I don't think you'd be too excited about talking to that neurosurgeon. Now, I'm not asking you to be a Nobel Prize economist. That's not what I'm saying. But you should know some of the basic statistics about the marketplace, about what's happening locally, what's happening in your city, your county, and in the state, and on a national level. And I know it seems like we covered a lot of stuff, but we didn't. We really didn't. We covered what your company did. We covered what the unemployment rate is in California and on a national level. And we talked about home prices today versus a year ago. That's not a lot of content to really remember. And it's not like you have to look it up every day. Like, if you just do that every quarter and then commit those numbers to memory, or if you're prospecting, have them printed out in front of you so you can see it at a glance, you will find opportunities, gang, I promise you. Commit to memory what the unemployment rate is, what the expected rate of increase is for home prices, what the increase was in 2021, and what the average home price is. And if you will do that, I promise you, you will use that information in conversations. Because I remember there was a day when I didn't commit this information to memory when I was an active agent. And then I remember when I started doing it, how interesting it was that I would use that information. I saw opportunities. You don't see the opportunities to use it when you don't have it committed. But as soon as you have it committed, you start to see all of these opportunities to use this information to position yourself as an authority. Gang, you have to project yourself as an authority in this business. Okay. Melina, the sources are Redfin, Inman News, that's INMAN News, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then the National Association of Realtors. Those are some sites that you can go to get really all the data that I pulled. So you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, gang, any thoughts, any questions, any comments before we wrap it up? Because we are out of time. It's that time. Anyone?
Yeah, John, real quick.
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, first of all, I like the focus of this conversation today, because I know that once you started training us on this, probably 4 or 5 years back, it's made a huge difference in my confidence as a presenter for listing presentations. And I know that I've been able to beat the competition, cutting their commissions, showing the value. And their exact words were, you have access to information that we can't even just pull up online. And the Flex Market Summary Report is one of those things that I print before every single listing presentation. And I highly recommend it because it's local stats of each city that shows absorption rate, the inventory. You're not just saying it's low inventory, you're showing them from last year to this year, as well as you're showing by the months when the best time is to sell. And I know this is a game changer. So I appreciate you focusing on it and just reminding us all that we need to be on top of this because it will make a big difference this year in everybody's success. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Of course, let's just repeat that. So you said that on Flex MLS, there's a Flex MLS market report.
Yep, it's called the Market Summary Report.
Market
And-
Summary Report,
Yep.
FSR, market.
Yep,
Yeah.
market summary report. There's a few other market reports on there too. I know other agents have showed me what they've used. There's something called Market Trends. The market summary report's very easy. You just put the zip code in, you put the city in, and then it'll pull up as whatever the last completed month is. So if we're in January, you can pull as of December. Once we hit into February 1st, then you can pull up January stats, and it'll show your average days on market, show your median price, show your active pending and solds for every price point. And that's huge. And I go through that with them so that they see, okay, you're competing against 8 other buyers who bought in your price point that you want to be in right now. It also helps them price more realistic as well. So it's a huge tool to use. We teach the listing presentation with the CMAs and how to be better with that and presenting that in a way that gets our sellers to list it at the right price. But that market summary report is huge. So I just wanted to share that.
No, thank you for mentioning that. Now, look, gang, there are going to be certain segments of the population that aren't going to be interested in the stats. Drivers in particular may not be interested in seeing this stuff. We know that at least 25% of the population, being analyticals, are going to want to see this stuff. But whether they're amiables or analyticals or expressives or drivers, they're still going to want to know that you know what's going on in the marketplace. And if you can use some of this information in these casual conversations, whether you're prospecting or sitting down at a listing table or talking to a buyer about getting a buyer broker agreement signed, you're going to position yourself as an expert, and you need to be seen as an expert. It's one of the best ways you can separate yourself from your competition and get them to choose you versus the thousands of choices that they have. So, all right, gang, great job on being here. Let's finish this up with the closing affirmations.